My name is Elliot and welcome to Freelance Duck Hunting, and today I'm going to talk about a subject that I did a terrible job of discussing with you guys last year, and that's our lease. What happened with our lease? So if you've watched Freelance Duck Hunting for the past year, last July and August, my videos were full of information about our lease that we had purchased. We were planting millet, we were working in it, and what I had said was about 33% of our hunts were going to take place on the lease. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened with the lease. If you've watched our videos last year, you may or may not know we did not hunt a single time on our lease. It ended up being an absolute disaster, and I did a terrible job of relaying that to you guys and keeping you updated on that. And I know that because I have received lots of private messages about this, asking what happened to the lease, why didn't you hunt the lease? So I thought it would make a lot of sense for me to stop and just give a little update on the lease. So we had this idea last year. We saw this come up on, I believe, Craigslist. Corn did this fantastic looking lease for about $4,000 for the year. So we went out, we took a look at it. It looked great, had a pip line, and we decided, we're going to go ahead and move on this. It was Danny, Corn, Fumbles, and myself, and we were going to move on it. So mostly Fumbles and me, a little bit Golden Boy. We figured out how to plant the millet. We planted the millet. We grew this crop. And Fumbles actually took the camper up to that area, and all the month of September he was up there. Well, even 2 weeks before September, he was up there scouting because we had been told that this lease had been fantastic for teal. So we had a great crop of millet. We were raising the water levels because this lease had a pump where you could pump it all in there, and the teal just never showed up. And every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, Fumbles was scouting it, looking for teal, and they never ever showed up. So during teal season, we went ahead and just hunted public land. I'll put up some links to that. That's the one where we fed Fumbles dog food, hunt number 1. And so we just hunted public land instead of the lease. And we figured, hey, you know what? We've done everything right. We had a state biologist that was helping us out with this, with how to plant it. We had a great crop. So we just figured surely when the big push of ducks start coming through, we'll start having ducks there. So Fumbles went back up there late October and stayed up there in his camper for another 2 or 3 weeks. And again, last couple weeks of October into November, he was scouting. And out of all of his scouts, all he saw was a handful of wood ducks a couple of times. Nothing ever was using the lease. So we never hunted it. And so that's kind of the situation. Now, after we started doing really, really well in November and a lot of mallard hunts, I'll put that link up here to our mallard hunts, we kind of stopped checking. But we did have a farmer that 2 or 3 times a week would go and look. And not one time did we get a report that ducks were using that lease. So we just don't know. I mean, we are really confused as to why they never showed up. In that area at one point in time, there was 250,000 birds in the general area, and still nothing was using our lease. So I don't know. I'm not sure why they weren't using it. I'm not sure what happened, but because we never ever saw the birds there, and because we were doing so well in the month of November, especially before the freeze up, we just never went and hunted it. So that's a little rundown on the lease for you. In case you're curious, we did not renew the lease, obviously. We tried. It was a good learning experience, but it just didn't work out. So anyway, in the meantime, between now and the season starts, and it's coming up fast, make sure you head over to Patreon and look and see what I've got over there. There's a lot of bonus content. There's some hunts over at Patreon that I've never put on YouTube. A lot of stuff for you guys to see. So if you're really, really wanting to get some new FDH content before the season starts, head on over to Patreon and check that out. Until that time, I'll still be posting some content here as much as I can. Season's coming soon. That's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you so much.